I was a young girl, I was really passionate about antiques, vintage and second-hand items. I would often buy old pictures, perfume bottles, Victorian lace gloves and clothing, photo albums, and 1930s or 40s jewellery. The theme of time plays quite heavily when you walk into one of these shops or hold any item from them. I often felt like I was being invited into another time, someone else's time, yet here I was with them in their time, yet still in this time, and it felt as if time stood still. Wherever I'd look, and whatever object I would hold, I knew that someone else at another time had held it too, had treasured it, looked after it. It feels like everything in these places, that time takes center stage, and time grabbed my full attention. Here, with an object of another time and the sense of stories attached to it. My home is filled with many delights of the past, and so is my wardrobe. If I wear a ring from, say, the Victorian era, I feel that I am wearing a piece of jewellery that someone once treasured. But as I wear it, I continue to treasure it now in this time. It then becomes a gift of now, and it continues to live, and we could say becomes timeless. Some people might call it clutter, toot or old-fashioned stuff, but to me it has character. They are time warriors. These items have stood the test of time, been through so much already, and now they exist here with me, in my care. I have always felt something of the magical, the mysterious, when I go into a vintage shop, or I recover something from another time. It feels like I have discovered a treasure that someone else must have once treasured. I become enraptured with the many different elements of beauty that I see within it. I soak in every little detail of life in each thing that I see, I hold, I hear, or I touch. I've always been this way. As a child, I would question and imagine who the item belonged to. It's as if I had a sense of them here with me. I could feel the existence of life flowing through into my hands, and my hands would tingle with this life of another time. It took on its own life in my hands, and in that moment I was mesmerized by it, and I felt responsible for it, to allow that life to continue to live on. To me, it was not about something of the past or about the past. It was about something to be loved, to be cherished, that I could give life to again, and I could honour in my physical time here now. That is what I felt when I was young. It was a feeling of doing something good, continuing the cycle of life for this item. The story behind it now continued, but in a new way, in a new home. I remember standing in antique shops like I do now, and it's a feeling I can't quite describe, but I can sense how things live on through things, and certain items would just catch my heart. Now, I am not attached to these items, to these objects. I just greatly appreciate them, and the feeling of life being given to them again. It is a lovely feeling. I see it as it is, in a new light, in a new way, with a renewed life, continuing its journey. I understand, oh too well, how easy it is to become attached to anything, object or person, and especially any time, And when that happens, it becomes evident to me that we are then chasing after shadows and ghosts. It can cause great, great suffering, holding on to anything, wishing for something to be a certain way again, when a time felt good, or being gripped by a time of sorrow, wishing it had never been. So it's not just with antique shops that the theme of time plays a large part in people's lives. It's always kind of here, this theme of time. I have always pondered over the theme and the concept of time. Have you ever questioned what time is and what is time? I have watched as so many are governed by time, their lives dictated by time, rushing around, everything within a time frame, a structure, a plan, and their daily schedules going to that plan. And I do completely understand that we have to work. We have responsibilities and duties in our lives that need to be fulfilled. It's very easy. It's very, very easy, isn't it, to spend most of our time in the past or in the future, not even realizing what we're doing with our time. We can very easily become stuck and governed by time. How do you see time? I wonder if we can work with time wisely, comfortably, so that it benefits us and it doesn't rule us. I wonder if we can make time something of a gift rather than a hindrance. I hear so often, I don't have enough time. If only I had more time. Time doesn't stand still. Time to move on. Many people yearn for time for themselves. And years ago, I discovered the irony of this statement. When I used to volunteer in care homes, it seems when we finally have time, it comes at the time that we really do not want it at all. And it never seems to come when we really, really need it. One day, we may stop and we might see that we've given so much to time, and in the process, we have lost a great deal. How can we be wise with time? What if we looked at time not so much as the enemy, because that is how it can often feel to many, but instead maybe look at time as a friend that reminds us that we're here, and physically we are here to embrace these lives, this life, to embrace it as an opportunity to become aware as to what we do with our time here, and to become more aware with the time that we have. What if in this time, this moment, I have the opportunity to see the magical, not just in the antique object from another time, but to feel the magical in this time, to feel the sense of newness in everything that comes to me in each moment, in my hands, in my space, to my ears and to my eyes. What if I gave my time fully, my full awareness to that? Now, would that be the gift of time that I can experience right here and right now? These antique vintage objects, or even old traditions, crafts, rituals, or folk tales, they all, I believe, have an invisible thread, a story behind each and every one of them that embodies another's love. And as we hold it, reuse it, we allow it and that love to live on. Just like a soul, it is immortal, a continuum of life that flows on with great love.
I like to carry around some poetry, and it's a time to reflect on our lives and the renewal of life and the rebirth of ourselves and rebirth of life. I found this poem, and I know many people are going through really hard times at the moment, and it's a really lovely poem by Wendell Berry, and it's called The Peace of Wild Things. And I like living here so much because there are wild things growing everywhere, things that we can't tame in life and things that we can't control. And for me, this time of life when spring is happening and the baby lambs are joyfully jumping everywhere, and you can see the flowers springing up through the ground everywhere, that nothing really is controlled, that sometimes the wild things of life can bring such beauty. So this poem: when despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. So with Easter, with spring, with this time of year, darkness and light bringing both into balance, they need each other, and everything is reborn from that darkness. And maybe what is being said in this poem is that we mustn't fear, even though sometimes fear overtakes us. We must find a place where we can become still within again, where we can rest and see that nature holds the key for so much, and that light, the warmth and the glow of light, it comes through. It comes through in the end. Well, the chai turned out very nice. I must admit, after all of that, it's lovely. Very spicy, very warm. And you know, the ginger in this, and the cardamom, is very, very good for the circulation of the body. And then the cloves that are added to this are wonderful for helping to get rid of bacteria and toxins in the body and cleanse the body. And the cardamom really gives you that lovely warmth to it. So, and I used almond milk for this and some syrup. So it tastes creamy. It's really lovely. Cheers. I really, really enjoy writing, and I wanted to share something of my own with you, which I'm not used to doing so much. I feel that the message of all traditions and all spiritual traditions is that of healing and peace and love. And especially when we're living in a time where many people have a lot going on, a lot of heavy burdens to deal with, and there's so much fear, that what we need is to really work on healing ourselves and healing all the things around us. So I wrote this today, and I hope it brings some healing for yourself, and I titled it In This Moment. In this moment, I am blessed with life, with happiness and health. In this moment, may I be kind to myself when faced with problems. In this moment, may I be kind to others. In this moment, when faced with fear, may I find the strength and courage that I need. In this moment, when my mind is confused, may I be blessed with peace. In this moment, may I remember that all is well. In this moment, I remind myself that I am here and I am loved. In this moment, I thank you for giving me life. In this moment, I know that I am truly blessed. Now, as this time of year is very much about contemplation and reflection and becoming aware of everything around us that's just, whether it's dark or light, whether it's wild or beautiful, if we can come to this moment, as I've titled this piece of writing, and recognise that kindness is there if we're willing to give it to ourselves and others. And if we're willing to see the blessings, then we will feel blessed ourselves as well. Thank you.